Hello everyone, welcome to Dominar MTG. I'm Freddy Hawk, and this is another PAUPER gameplay, this time playing Fairies. And I played a big event, like more or less a big event on Magic Online. It was 70, almost 80 players, and I made top 10, top 9. I end up being in ninth position with a 4-2 record. I won 4 matches and I lost 2 matches. And it was the Fuguete 200 because it was 200 tickets in prices. So the deck is pretty simple. It's a mono blue fairy, very stock list. Also the sideboard, but this is Barf list, a Brazilian grinder. It's very well known. One of the best, if not the best, Magic Online player. And he did a lot of good results with this list. Of course, I'm going to be linking this exact list on the description and in the comments. And well, the deck is simple. You just want to make fairies to count to the spell to the sprite, to tempo in play your opponent countering a spell, and also keep the pressure, keep the pressuring your opponent. Also, you want some kind of removal. This deck's not running any snaps, but it's running 4 Cryo Shatter. It's by far one of the best removals you can have. I think it's the best right now because it can deal with big creatures and also tap abilities because the creature is destroyed after that. And also if your opponent just chump blocks, they lose the creature. And also, this deck is featuring Silver Villain Scan. This card is so strong. You're gonna see on the matches. Please watch all the video because you're not gonna regret. I made a lot of mistakes, I mean, misplays, but you're gonna see this card in action. This card is so freaking good. You draw a card, you tap creatures, you keep pressuring, and you draw 4 cards out of this card, and also tap 2 creatures. You have 2 tempo plays in one card, and also 4 cards. But one single thing spell, I like it, but I don't think maybe we can shave 1 Cryo Shatter for the second spell, and in the sideboard maybe shaving 1 Spreading Seals or even 1 Blue Elemental Blast to play the third copy of the spell. But the list is very strong as it is. We play 2 Harrier Strix. Sometimes you can play 1 less Harrier Strix and maybe play 1 more copy of the spell because we one Strix, 4 Cryo Shatters, and 3 Silver can. Man, you have a lot of things to to tap creatures to deal with the creatures that are trying to block you. 8 ninjas, pretty stable for this deck. We are playing the beautiful new the Hobbit for your islands. Look how beautiful this land is, this art is. Anyway, the sideboard is simple. You have the red package, the package against red decks. We have still sabotage because it's better than a null in this meta game at some point because you can bounce back those bridges and answer the cleansing wildfire while your opponent is targeting the bridge. You bounce the bridge and your opponent lose the wildfire. Don't draw a card. Don't search for a land. Don't ramp. It's a disaster. And for spreading seas, this is the key of this deck against Tron, GRUUL, Ramp, or Ponza, and Gates also, of course. But a lot of the decks that Gates, Tron, and the Utopia Sprawl decks are you're gonna be bringing this card in. But there's some decks that maybe if you spreading seas that land, it's maybe even against Affinity, but I don't remember the sideboard against Affinity because I don't think I faced Affinity on this event. But anyway, if you don't face a lot of Affinity, a lot of jungle and that stuff, you can play 4 Anu here, of course. And also, if you don't play against a lot of Trons, Tron now it's on Magic Online, Tron is really strong now. But if you don't face a lot of Tron, maybe here you can play one more copy of the spell, 2 or 3 copies of Relic of Progenitus, that kind of stuff. So now let's go to the matches. But before, please subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, because that helps me a lot and I appreciate it. So it's gonna be, I think it is 6 matches, and I went for 2, like I said, and I'll be showcasing all of them. So this video might be a little bit longer than the usual, but enough talk, guys. Let's go to the matches. Okay, this was the first round, and Mulligan's hand is here on the side. Mulligan to 6 because the hand was terrible. I'm going to 6, then I decide to keep this because I don't want to go to 5. But yeah, we are in trouble here. But not in trouble because you can ninja. Opponent just don't find a land, and then my opponent resolves a this combat, which is I tap the combat and attack and draw a lot of another card. I found my lands, but now my opponent's just going to wreck my board, which is really bad. Yeah, as you can see here, it's really bad. And we need to find a Cryo Shatter. Otherwise, we are just dead. And I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Maybe we're fine, but this is against a mono black control. One's playing Nihilus, but I don't like this Raven. I really don't like it. It is a card that doesn't have anything to do with the now I'm gonna make a mistake here. I'm gonna make a mistake. I didn't thinking about this when I was targeting the card. I was trying to tap down the combat regions now instead of just prevent my opponent to attack with this Raven. But the opponent might just tap in response. And I had a mistake. I just decided to untap. I could just say no, you know, but I just said yes. It was a mistake. I just I drew 2 lands. This is really bad. Now I'm gonna be playing a lot of creatures, trying to play a lot of creatures. Opponent just kill my creature on site, which is I don't think is that good. Maybe opponent could wait. Now, yeah, now those cards are good, but I don't have anything. Maybe I can. Opponent's going to kill my creature. Then I'm going to Spellstutter Sprite. I don't care. Maybe it's a mistake, but another Raven. They kill my Spellstutter Sprite. And when it's attacking, which it might be a mistake because if you can tap this Raven, we can connect the ninja here. But I don't know. Yeah, we can connect the ninja. Maybe opponent has a removal. I don't know. Okay, opponent is just going to bargain. I don't know why my opponent did that. Just to find the file. I don't know. My opponent's playing kind of bad. With all the respect that I can have to my opponent, but I guess those were just kind of bad plays on this combat witches and this cast down removal. Why, you know, just let it resolve, man. Why let the ninja connector have? Maybe the opponent has only lands in hand. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. Maybe it is, but I'm going to tap the. I could have tapped the combine now, especially now that I drew a special sprite. But anyway, I have a counter. It's going to maybe I'm gonna play another fairy here. I don't care. It's gonna kill one of them. No, no. Now he's playing like he's waiting. Now he can just ping my creature, my fairies, because he's my EOT. So there's no reason to not ping my creature that. So yeah, now it's pinging. It's fine. Not fine. We are losing, of course, but let's playing the troll. I'm gonna just try to spell to the sprite, trying to ninja my opponent. But this game is over because I had 10 life. Opponent has a removal. I'm going to dispel, but you know, the game is over. We're going to ninja, see if we draw another can or a off one mind, but we draw another ninja who is gonna do nothing. So let's go to the game 2. Alright, the sideboard wise for the game 2 was I just took out one Humbling Elder to play. What was what here? One more Dispel. Yeah, that was the sideboard. Because I just needed the spell to deal with all the draws and the removals at instant speed. So this hand is fine because I have Cryo Shattered and I drop one. We can keep this hand. Opponent move to 6. And here, even if my opponent finds now we just go one top on board. I think I put the counter spell on the top. Yeah. When it's trying to equal out spring, I'm gonna counter. Because I have an answer to the I just tap out because I have an answer to this creature right now. I point to top. I point to put to top. Opponent wants to kill my creature is fine because opponent loses the creature, but I have a special sprite. And I made a mistake here, a gross mistake. This at this point here, I could just lose my fairies here and keep my special sprite. But I decided to sprite to force my opponent to lose the combat riches. But man, this is not very good. Opponent's going to lose. I'm gonna lose my creature, and now the Italian Blade will remove my creature, which is kind of bad. That was a mistake. I wasn't thinking right when I did this. But this is going to be a long game. Opponent has only 3 cards in hand now, the same as us, and we have 4 lands. Opponent has 5 lands now. Maybe opponent's flooded. Opponent's stepping out. No, opponent's flipping the blade. This is a good sign for us because we can special sprite. We can ninja now. Draw a card. We have a scry here. We keep the counter spell. The other card on the top, I don't remember what card it was. One has 6 cards in hand. Nothing to do. You gotta keep attacking. I don't know if I want to. I guess I kept a land. Discard. I think that was it. So I want to pass with my spell stutter and my counter spell. I think I need to keep this counter spell for a eventual crypto rats because the crypto rats now will kill us, and not now, but if you have a lot of creatures in play. I just decided to counter to have my pressure up like to 3 turns on the clock. My point just pretty much decided to do this because I want to connect with the ninja. If I draw a land, I want to connect with the ninja. And don't draw a land. So ninja, I gonna draw with the ninja now. I remember I tried to risk it because I want to see more cards. And I just decided, I saw a land. Okay, fine, discard a land. Just to take away a land from my top. When I play the merchant, I'm gonna counter spell again. And now, even if my opponent has a Crypto Rats, maybe we have a better chance to win. No, not now, because now opponent might just turn the tide here. I'm gonna draw a card, I'm gonna find a tricks, and I'm not gonna play these tricks because I was, you know, thinking about the Crypto Rats. My opponent does have nothing. He tried to kill my. Okay, I'm gonna draw a card here. I'm gonna attack, and not gonna be lethal, but I'm gonna have my spell stutter back, so I can counter the Crypto Rats with my stutter, which is very strong. And I'm going to keep 3 mana open because I want to Humbling Elder on the. Okay, opponent just try this. I'm gonna spell stutter. I don't know why I did this, but not I. There's no reason to not do because the opponent has no cards in hand. I just countered because I hate to face this card playing fairies. So let's go to the game 3. The game 2, I decided to take out a Strix to play with the Dispel. I don't remember if for the game 2 I decided to cut the Strix, but that's what I did for the game 3 because I'm on a draw. Okay, 3 lands is perfect. Now my opponent can resolve the combat riches. We Opponent's going to kill my creature. No, just Raven off. This is perfectly fine because I have 4 lands, we have the counter spell, we have a ninja. We just need to wait. The spell now, the spell is very strong. This matchup gets cast down in any draw spells. Okay, we're gonna counter this. I don't wanna. Opponent is losing land drops, which is bad. And I don't have a counter spell, but I have the spell here. Once we have another one, now we are in trouble again. We need to find we need to find cards to deal with the combat witches, and we don't. Okay, opponents have duress. I'm gonna counter spell because I don't want to reveal this dispel. Okay, opponent's starting to kill. He's gonna start to kill my creature, I guess. But my opponent losing missing land drops is. I don't know if that was correct, but opponent's pinning my Harris tricks. Okay, I'm gonna attack both creatures. One wants to block the 1/2. He's gonna lose the Raven. I'm gonna Ninja, drawing 2 cards, very strong. 2 lands? No. Yeah, 2 lands. Uh, now we can. Okay, I think I got about. I topped both cards there. Okay, Tiring Blade. I think we rather lose the Humbling Elder than the Fairy. Now my opponent might be just losing the combat witches to kill my Fairy, or maybe not. Maybe he wants to to jump the ninja. Maybe both jumps now. And I was thinking about this. That's why I kept the fairy. And my opponent is going to do this. It's a good play also. Not also, but it's the bad play, the best play. One wants to draw a card. Yeah, this is bad. Well, that was a good draw from my opponent. But he has 5 cards in hand, and maybe you are in trouble here. You have double dispel to try, to try to counter those draw spells my opponent is going to attempt to cast. I think I'm gonna flash this spell to no. I need to find a ninja first. Okay, that's why the cannon is so strong. Because in the late game, it's not a creature that just tap a creature. It's not a snap. It's a card that you draw 2 cards. No, not 2, the 4 cards out of it. With 5 mana, instant speed, draw 4 cards, tap 2 creatures. It's amazing. This card is so strong. And I'm gonna do that. I draw 2 cards. Not 4 cards. I'm gonna tap 2 creatures and draw 2 cards. I said draw 4 cards, but that's not the. It was that, but it would be broken. Would be a mythic, or at least a rare. Okay, opponent's trying to kill my creature. I'm going to spell stutter. I'm shearing that my opponent doesn't have any. That's not. I don't care. I have a fairy in play. I was wanting to have a fairy in play. When he has 3 cards in hand, I don't know what those cards are. Maybe he has a Crypto Rats. Maybe turn out the Black Rose. I'm going to draw 3 cards here, 2 cards here, 2 cards. I'm going to play going to Ninja and play the Fairy, of course. I'm not gonna hold my Fairy. I have a land. I need to keep this land because now my Ninja is going to connect to draw cards and discard cards. This loot effect is nice to have a land. All my cards are good now in my hand, except my land. When is trying to Grey Merchant, I'm gonna let that resolve. I'm going to cam it because it's the best thing I can do now. I need to save this counter spell, but at some point I'm gonna have to use it. Now we just draw and discard a land. Oh, I draw another land. I don't play this land because I still have my ninja. It's going to Great Merchant. Now I think we need to counter this because opponent would gain 4 life. But maybe this was a mistake. Okay, maybe we better just tap one of them. And we're gonna tap this one, draw cards to see what I draw. Now that I have this sprite, I'm pretty fine to just draw a card here and have my spell stutter to counter the Crypto Rats if my opponent plays one. The Grey Merchant is now I need to counter this because I'm rather could lose the game if I don't. Okay, the Raven is fine. I mean, not that fine, but going to do this and going to attack with everything. Opponent's going to block the 2-1. This is was a mistake in my opinion. I will just keep attacking. Opponent's going to block. He's going to sack and draw. That's bad. And then opponent finds the Crypt Rats and pay 2. Now we are in trouble. Opponent has no cards in hand, but have 5 life. We found one ninja. We bottom the land and keep the ninja, which is very strong. Opponent just playing those lands, though doesn't make any sense. Opponent need to hold those lands. I'm going to attack here. Opponent's going to take it, I believe. No, one block. That was a okay. My opponent has the Eviscerators Insight. I was just kind of forgetting about this Insight, and my opponent just get back the Merchant and not the Crypt Rats. That's interesting. I'm going to Humbling Elder. I'm going to return the gun Humbling Elder. No, both. Okay, this is really strong. Now Crypt Rats doesn't save my opponent anymore because opponent's going to be at 1 life, not 3 life, because opponent is going to play the Grey Merchant. If you don't draw counter spell now, let's see. We don't. So we play the fairy, both fairies to be honest, and we top the spell study. No, we don't play the both the fairies. That's also a good play. Opponent has only 1 life. We're going to 3 life, but it's fine because I have another ninja. One ninja is gonna connect. The other one is going to connect because the fairy is going to be flying over. And then I have a spell to the sprite because I'm gonna play the fairy seal from my hand before scry, and then having 3 fairies, I'm going to attack too little. The opponent having a removal on the fairy, I just going to counter with my spell to the sprite. I'm on the fairy or the ninja. That doesn't matter. So this was the first game, the first match, first round. It was a pretty difficult one because we faced the if it was not for the combat riches, it will be much easier because Crypt Rats is strong against us. It's very strong, but it's 3 mana. We can counter it better, even on a draw. So let's go to the round 2. The second round now. Alright, we have a bad hand. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. And we're gonna keep this hand. Yeah, keep a 6 is fine. We have a ninja turn 2 if you so choose. One is playing RAKDOS Burn. Yeah, this is I don't know. We have 6 Hydros on the sideboard, but now my opponent is going to plot a robbery, which is strong. Okay, you're just going to attack. I was about to ninja because if my opponent has a robbery, he can just play the robbery for 0 mana and resolve that snacker, which is better, which is bad. Now opponent has the 3rd mana, he's going to grab the prize, the snacker. That's why I was thinking about just ninja my opponent there. And my opponent just have a Volatile Epicure now, 5 cards in hand. I think this game is pretty lost now. Can still do something. I think I'm going to tap the. I'm going to ninja. Yeah, ninja is bold, but yeah, you have a Humbling Elder to deal with this necker. Things are shaping up, but pretty still pretty bad. You're going to Humbling Elder and block the Voldare. This is a strong combat for us because you don't take damage and you take out a creature. We're going to attack. We're going to play the Fairy Miscreant, and we're going to play. We could be play. If we could play the Strix there, I'm going to counter. No, opponent's Kitchen Imp. Okay, I think I'm gonna counter the Kitchen Imp because I don't want this thing flying over. Opponent has 6 cards in hand, bro. This is so bad. Okay, maybe we have something to do here. But opponent might have a string of like a string of Alms of the Vein to gain life. Then Vampire's Kiss, like he just played, because that would be bad for us anyway. I'm going to attack our opponent. If opponent wasn't gaining that 2 life, maybe okay, Alms of the Vein we can counter the spell, but I don't think we should. Yeah, I think no, because now my Celestial Sprite can counter 2 mana things. I'm going to block. I don't know if this block was correct. Okay, I'm going to specialize with this. Opponent is fire temper in my face, I believe. Yeah. Drawing a card. Opponent, he still have 5 cards in hand. That's a ninja now. This is so bad. But a ninja would be very, very strong. But you know what? If my opponent is not flooded because he's not playing a bunch of lands. Now he played a land only because I said. Okay, you're going to draw 2 cards here, maybe? No. You don't have a spell pierce on our deck. It will not be make the difference. Opponent plot that robbery. You just need to draw 2 cards here. Yeah, how many other you should have we could just hold it. Okay, this is very strong because you're going to deal 4 damage here. Opponent's going to 9. We have 2 counter spells. But the problem here is my opponent has and we have a perfect mana to humbling the snacker and to counter my opponent however with the spell to the sprite. I just let that resolve. I don't know why. Double snacker. This is so strong, bro. Okay, I mean need to counter the grab the prize. We counter spell the temper and we sprite the grab the prize. Opponent still have 4 cards in hand. Opponent both my creature. Why opponent just did that? Maybe I don't know. I could see my draw. Maybe I considered too early, but my opponent's paying 1 mana here. I don't know why. Maybe he has bolt. He would kill me or bolt. Opponent had a bolt already, but he drew a lot of cards. He was almost halfway through his deck. So yeah, this is maybe it's a pretty difficult matchup because there's knackers and kitchen imps that are flyers, and also being red. Being red is bad because they remove our sheep, and sideboard now is going to be in the festivities or electricity, those kinds of cards. Let's go to the game 2. The sideboard wise here was we took out 4 Cryo Shatters, 1 Can, and 1 Strix to play the 6 Hydroblasts, and we move in this hand, no lands. We keep this hand. 6 is a good 6. We have a fairy. We have a ninja. Top we top both cards. A land and a big ninja. Opponent just got getting crazy. Maybe because he doesn't want to take this spell turn on turn 2. He's just gonna flash. Gonna go to the ninja. I don't care because maybe we find a hydroblast here. Why not? But we don't. But we have the can in case my opponent wants to kitchen him. Or Dark Witching. It's fine. You lose a ninja, but you just draw a card with a ninja. Fine also. I think I'm going to Humble Elder here. Or maybe they can. No, I don't do nothing. I did nothing. Okay. The thing is not very good for us because opponent is still having 7 cards in hand. Okay, that's fine. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. We're going to can. I don't know why I did can there. Now we can Humbling Elder something and can. Okay, opponent discarding a land. Maybe opponent's really flooded here. Yeah, he played the land so fast. Maybe opponent's flooded. Not fast because replays with you don't know how fast or how slow the play was. Okay, you just can. Trying to find a hydro. We'll grab the prize again. That's 7 life, bro. Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm going to ninja here. What we're gonna draw? A hydro. This is strong. Opponent has 6 cards in hands now. This is too much, bro. We're going to sprite. Opponent is going to Arms of the Vein. I know that I need to let resolve. I don't have a choice. Okay, opponent's just wrecking us. Sneaky snacker. Now we need to find a plan to attack around this Sneaky Snacker because the opponent is going to get this back a lot of times. Let me just draw 2 cards here. Okay. Okay, this is becoming easier because now I knew opponents would try to do this. I'm gonna counter. Opponent played a land. Another looting. I'm countering. That's all of that is just because I have a Hydroblast open. I can't have a Hydroblast open to counter a End the Festivities or even a Breath Weapon like Trickery. Okay, Faithless Looting. I'm gonna let one snacker go back. Opponent discarded another snacker. I'm gonna draw 2 cards with oh, we could bring back double ninja here. Double spell stutter. But I decided no. I don't know why. Yeah, we have 5 untapped mana, which is pretty strong. Now I think my opponent's dead. Kitchen Imp, we can just counter spell. Opponent's playing 3 arms at the vein, we can just counter spell. Okay, it's GG. Opponent doesn't know, but we can just blue elemental or restricts since we drew it. That's not showing that we have the hydros or blue elementals. And then my opponent just concedes. He not concede because he concedes because he would take 9 damage. 4 ninjas attacking for 8, and they spell the sprite. So let's go to the game 3. This was a really hard game 2. I when my opponent just uh, put me to 4 life, I decided to. I was almost conceding, but you should not concede that early. Never. When you play a mono blue Faeries deck, the deck can just get back to the game really fast. You just need the right draws, and I had the right draws. So let's go to the game 3. All right, the game 3. This hand is it might seem good if this was not a third land. It was a Fairy Seer. Maybe I could keep it. And if this land and this ninja were just one fairy, like a spell stutter or a drop 1, and a hydroblast, I would keep this hand. But this way, I cannot keep this hand. Okay, we move it to 5 because the other land the other hand was just kind of. I think I was just searching for the hydroblast. I had 2 lands, not 3 lands, and I have just bluffing, trying to bluffing something. But just highway robbery. Then we're just going to do this in both top. No, just put on one to the bottom. We have 4 lands, which is kind of too much for the turn 2. Okay, once attacking, I think I'm gonna take, I'm gonna block. I'm gonna take. One might just plot another robbery. Okay, now we have Spellstutter Sprite and the Hydroblast. And we're just going to attack. Opponent is 4 minutes on the clock. Like less than 5 minutes. I remember I was thinking about my opponent just double killing something, like playing this event or in playing the Puppet Challenge, and now we just countering everything. Opponent just play another mountain. Opponent's kinda. I think opponent's flooded. I think opponent's flooded. Maybe in hand he has like 3 lands now, or 2 lands and one Arms of the Vein maybe. And now things are becoming very good for us because we have the counter and we have a draw now. The counter spell is really strong. Okay, opponent is paying 4 to cast a Kitchen Imp. I'm gonna counter this. This means my opponent only have bad cards in hand. And opponent had a heavy robbery. But now opponents played a land and discarded a Faithless Looting. So we're gonna draw another card. This ninja is drawing so much cards. Okay, here is tricks. I don't care. I just have double spell to the sprite now. I'm gonna take this Vampire's Kiss and I'm gonna block the. I don't know if I did it correct, but now I'm going to ninja my seer. Opponent is going to Arms of the Vein. It's fine. It is still fine. I'm gonna take 4. You're going to draw a bunch of cards. Now the game is shaping up pretty nicely. We have 1 Hydro and 1 Sprite open. So if opponent tries to looting, I'm going to okay. This one we're gonna take it. Opponent just hit 2 Arms of the Vein and 1 Vampire's Kiss. I just flashed into the because I have the ninja. I just flashed into the because I had the ninja. I'm just gonna spell stutter and my opponent's gonna bolt and I'm going to hydro. Now I'm up to my opponent's hand and top deck. Because I not that much because I have the spell stutter sprite. I'm going to draw 1 card for the ninja, then we're gonna risk 1, I guess, and discard the land. Oh no, yeah, discard the land for the last one. But now opponent needs to find something. Right? I think this was a mistake here because if my opponent has a end of festivities, maybe things could be bad, but I don't know. Opponent discarded a highway robbery, grab the prize for a grab the prize, having 2 cards in hand. But at this point, I think the game is pretty locked because my opponent needs to find like 2 Alms of the Vein. But also, I can also counter the Alms of the Vein, of course. I'm gonna risk 1, discard an island. Here, I make a mistake here. I decided to discard a Hydro, but I don't think that was correct. Maybe I should have discarded the spell to the sprite. Because that the no I think that was correct because I discarded the can because I gonna try to kill my opponent definitely on my next turn. So I discarded the surveillance can because I don't need that. And I have a lot of cards and a lot of things driving me cards. At least this ninja here. So my discard here was on the blue elemental blast because I have 6 mana. I have access to all my cards now to counter. I can counter double Vampire's Kiss and Arms of the Vein. I can counter double of them. And also having 2 counters for the red spells like Bolt or even Fire Blast from opponent once. Maybe uh, playing a tap land, a ping land, dealing me 1 damage and maybe going to Fire Blast me 3 mountains, I don't know. You never know, man. Maybe they are crazy. But I think looking back, it was a bad discard, a nice discard to discard the blue elemental. My point is just that because he had nothing. Maybe he has only lands in hand, or maybe in hand, maybe he has 2 snackers in hand. There was a possibility also, or maybe 1 snacker and 1 land. My opponent, what cards my opponent has with 6 mana that he cannot play instead of this paying 4 to the kitchen imp. If it was Arms of the Vein, he need to play then paying only 2 mana to play the Kitchen Imp. If it was like more bolts and more stuff, just kill my creatures, man. Or just trying to go to my face on the end step and in your turn trying to play 2 spells. Maybe to dodge my counters. But that will be another game, I guess, because this one was pretty rough. Opponent just have nothing going on. But yeah, this was the second round. Let's go to the third round now. Alright, this is the third round. And I think I'm moving this hand. No, I just kept this hand trying to risk it. Okay, opponent's playing Orjov Blade. The Glint Blade, I guess. Oh no, it was a Mardu. Yeah, Mardu synthesizer. This is really bad. I don't have anything going on here. I just decided to risk and I didn't find any lands. Didn't found any lands. Now I find the second one, but I think it's too late. Opponent's blocking here. You can see he's blocking. I don't know why, but that seems that he doesn't have any Fisher or Glint Hawk to return the Fabrish Familiar. But then my opponent just played a Glint Hawk. Maybe he drew, okay? Maybe he can have, maybe he drew the Glint Hawk now. Because it doesn't make any sense. You just block with the losing the familiar, having a Glint Hawk that you can just get back the familiar and make me discard a card again. But I think that maybe it's better to just get back to replay the green bubble to kill my creatures, just to keep me out of the temple, out of temple. Another green hawk. I'm gonna counter this. Oh, let's try. Galvanic Blast it. Returning the green bubble. This is really bad. One is making an arm of creatures that are good to block on the air and on the ground. Two Dawnbringer clerics are just amazing to block on the ground. I'm going to, yeah, and block one, just taking one. You have two lands. Maybe if I found more lands here. Opponent just Urukosaki, drawing a card, losing a life. Hmm. Your opponent's maybe bluffing something, I don't know. Okay, I don't have anything going on. I'm going to draw two cards. Didn't find a land. Just going to pass. I should have attacked with the Faeria. What am I doing here? Yeah, opponent has no blocks there. Okay, Green Bubble is going to kill my Elder. Was going to Turning Blade, then I concede. I can't do nothing here anymore because I have a good hand, but if I had two more lands in play, maybe I had two less good cards that I used until here. So let's go to the game 2. The sideboard was to the game 2 was I took out all the Humbling Elders and one Dispel and one Off Your Mind. I just brought in two Hydroblasts, two Hydros, and the 4 Steel Sabotage. Maybe I should have taken out one more thing to play the third Blue Elemental if this is a MARDU synthesizer. But I was thinking about not being a MARDU synthesizer, but also being anything else like MARDU Blade and not playing the synthesizer. I don't know, but that was a mistake. When your opponent plays a Glint Hawk, they are playing the synthesizer. There's no way. They are making a mistake doing that, playing Glint Hawk and playing no synthesizer in a Mardu deck. So that was the sideboard. We got 6 cards and brought 6 cards, 2 Hydros and 4 Sabotages. I think we're gonna keep this hand. This hand is fine. Yeah, I guess it's fine. We can deal with the removal. Okay, we just top both of that. I don't know if that was a good one. We can ninja here, but of course I'm not going to. Okay, if I had a sabotage, sabotage would guarantee me that okay, the rest is bad because I need not bad. Actually, this was one of my mistakes here, and why I just counted the rest to show my opponent that I don't have anything, and you know I didn't have a way to deal with a breath weapon or electricity if I decided to let my opponent do rest, my opponent would take nothing. My opponent would be losing a card, and we're gonna be losing nothing. But opponent's gonna gain a lot of information, knowing that I have a special sprite, but I don't have anything else. When I would have ninjas. But since I had the ninja and my opponent was having only one more mana, and this deck doesn't play in the festivities, so I decided just to go for the special sprite countering the rest and telling my opponent that I might have spells in hand, but I don't have spells in hand, only creatures. But I think that was maybe that was a misplay. I will get back my stutter now, but You could have saved that activation. Okay, Quaskai Fish, I'm going to counter up. Maybe has some removal. Okay, he has. So Quaskai Fish resolves, which is bad. But I have the can. I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna attack for both ninjas. And now I'm going to sabotage the red bridge because I don't want my opponent to have the red mana. And I still have the can. And I'm going to kill my opponent on the end step. Opponent just destroyed my ninja. That was correct. I'm going to attack here. Both ninjas, of course. And drawing. Why I did that? Just play the can? Oh no, I played the fairy. Okay, I played the fairy, not the can. If I can here, I can tap but I just gonna tap with these tricks. I tap both to attack with everybody just to pressure my opponent. But at 4 life now. And we just have we have the off our mine and the counter spell to just shape up our victory here. Because opponent is going to play this. Maybe I should not counter this, but my opponent just played the land. Opponent played the land, showing me that he would be tapped out. So I just decided to counter it and can, in my turn, to tap the Quasquay Fisher and attack with everybody and ninja. No, we'll not be able to ninja. Yeah, now we can. Okay, it's fine. I don't remember if I saw that Moonhawker on the top of my deck with something. I guess I put the Hacker on the top of my deck with the Ferris here. I don't remember now. But anyway, that was a chill situation because I don't have any risks there. We had so much cards, so let's go to the game tree. Okay, game tree, and I just decided to keep the same sideboard. I think his hand is keepable, but removing that hand, I think I was trying to find maybe a Hydro. Now point just being crazy. Okay, synthesizer, I just countered. If my opponent has a removal, he is not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything because I have both fairies. Now opponent is in trouble, I guess. We need the land. We don't draw the land. Okay, now opponent is going to start to play creatures. We need to sabotage this. We find a can. We can. We can. We can play the can on the opponent and step, but opponent keep playing creatures that I need to counter. I have this Cryo Shatter, but I need to Cryo Shatter this Sky Fisher at some point, I believe. Opponent has only 3 cards in hand, a lot of lands, maybe he's flooded. And then I just Strix, and I just lose my patience here. Just going to attack. I don't have a ninja, but I can play the can to tap the Quiet Sky Fisher next turn. On my opponent's turn. Okay, opponent both the fairy. I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem. That's not bad for me. Okay, refurbishment, we need to sabotage. We need to draw land now. That would be beautiful. Yeah. Now we can. No, we crush shatter. Yeah, I think that's better maybe. I'm going to ninja the spell stutter. I don't think that's a good play. Maybe it is because you don't have any counter spell. Opponent just Arms of Adaras. That was wide. That was wide. But one opponent has no cards in hand and we have the can. The can now is you're just going to kill the Sky Fisher before he finds a Sky Fisher. But if my opponent finds a Sky Fisher, we could just can the Sky Fisher in response to the trigger of the new Sky Fisher. I'm not going to Strix because I want to draw 2 cards in my opponent's EOT. So you see here, can is so strong. Opponent playing lands. I don't think my opponent should be playing lands now. Okay, we just drew amazing. Another can, man. This now my opponent is dead. Maybe. Here at this point, my opponent is starting to be really dead. More lands, my opponent is playing more lands. I don't know why. Those lands my opponent needs to play, but that swamp right there, but it just I think it was bad. I think I need to play the Strix now. What you guys think? The Strix here will be nice one. When it's passing, we're gonna flash the can because we can, because we can do that. We have counter spell now. I don't think I should do anything here. Maybe just passing. We need to find more lands, of course. More lands. Opponent just don't stop to play lands. I don't think we need to can. Okay, ninja. I think ninja is fine. We still have a counter spell here. We need to do more damage. We need to clock a little bit more. What's going to bolt? Now I don't. This is okay because my opponent can top deck something, but we can answer a creature, and I don't care about my opponent removing my ninja because I have more card draw in hand. In my hand, I have one of my mind, and we have an answer that is Cryo Shatter for a Skyfisher or a Glint Hawk. So if my opponent just found another Arms of Adada, I think we would be fine. Take it for 3, opponent just now my opponent's pretty dead. I don't need to play any creature anymore. I'm gonna just send back this Strix in case my opponent finds a okay Orokusaki. I can the Orokusaki now, just tapping it, but I don't know if I don't know why I did that. I just wanted to see more cards, you know. Now I'm going to ninja the spell to the sprite. I'm gonna attack for 5, and I just not do not ninja. I don't know why. And now I just got a shot at that. I don't think this was a good play for by me. Opponent just Galvanic Blast his own Orokosaki. But I don't think there was a very good sequence in there. I guess that we didn't need to can because I had all flyers. And if my opponent attacks me, I am at 20. I don't my life is a resource, but and I have 20, so opponent's would lose 1 life. You would find a card, but you would have a counter spell, and you would have a ninja on my turn on the stutter. So I think that was a bad play. But anyway, this was the round 3. Let's go to the round 4. All right, round 4, and this opponent Baradas, he plays elves. I think he just played elves. And this hand against elf is useless. Just mulligan this hand. This is it's a bad hand, but you should not go to 5 against elves. Maybe we should try to mulligan into a Cryo Shatter. Would be better, but anyway. We're going to attack, we're going to ninja. Oh no, not now, because we have a counter spell. We need to counter the Titania or Timberwatch, Well-Wisher. We need to counter one of those. Okay, opponent is Well-Wishing, we're gonna counter because I'm not gonna win if my opponent resolves Well-Wisher. Then opponent resolves a better card. But that's Elves. This is the one of the worst matchups, man. Elves is one of our worst matchups. That's fine. Maybe not fine. The worst thing ever, but when there's another elf, he tries to resolve behind the way. I'm gonna counter. The other opponent taps for 5 mana. Lead the Stampede. Finding, I guess it was 5 creatures. 3 creatures. Then I just conceded because those creatures are 1 Massive Event and 2 General's Hand that my opponent can just hardcast and just wall of Fairies, wall a deck forever because I don't have any removal now. So let's go to the game 2. Okay, the sideboard here was pretty simple. We just took out the single team dispel from our main deck, and we brought in 1 Spreading Seas. It's better than nothing. This list is pretty bad against elves because we don't have any gut shots, because we don't have any unable to screams on the sideboard. But yeah, we have the Spreading Seas that is good against Tron, the other matchups, but in this hand is useless against elves, so me mulligan. We not mulligan this one because we have a better sprite, but we don't have a turn 1 fairy. Now we need to find. We're gonna Humbling Elder just to keep attacking. We found this, but I guess we ninja now. We need to. No, we don't ninja. Okay, because we have a counter spell. I'm blind. I'm not seeing my counter spell in hand now. But I saw. Playing the game at that time, I saw. Opponent's General's End playing nothing, just passing, because opponent's just trying to double cast creatures to play around. And I just passed the sprite because I think I'm going to attack with this spell. No, I was wanting to offer mine and trying to pressure my opponent just a little bit because I have this counter spell now. I have a Cryo Shatter to play, which is good, and I have a Humbling Elder to play on my opponent's EOT if my opponent plays nothing good at least. Okay, Vitugazi is nice, it's fine because I can Cryo Shatter. In this one, he counter. My opponent he has 3 cards in hand. Maybe we are kind of fine here still. We're going to Cryo Shatter. We don't have a counter, so we're just going to Ninja here. We're going to block the Fairy, I believe. Or no. Maybe he found a... Maybe he finds a Masked Vandal. We don't have any Ninja, but we're going to Fairy Miscreant. Opponent is going to cast the Leader Stampede and find a bunch of creatures, I guess. Yeah, 5 creatures. I can just concede here. Okay. For mine, I concede because what are we going to do here? My opponent and had played the Titania. He has those cards in hand. Another Vitugazi, Ant that he's going to play very easily. He can untap everything. We can counter the Ant, but we cannot counter the Hydra at some point. And Vitugazi is also very strong against us. This is I think it's the worst matchup for us guys, honestly. And it was a clean 0-2 to my opponent. So let's go to the round. I think it's round 5 now. Okay, I don't remember exactly, but I think I kept his hand because I don't know what my opponent was playing. Okay, this means maybe Mono Blue or Dimir Terror. Now it means Mono Blue Terror playing Force Spike. Mm, okay, opponent just I need okay. I'm going to Humbling Elder again. If this is Terror, Humbling Elders are pretty bad. Not pretty bad, but not very good. I'm going to Ninja here. Hoping that my opponent doesn't have any like Vapor Snag. Okay, gonna draw a counter spell, it's fine. My opponent tries to mill here. Brainstorm is fine. If I had a Spell Setter Sprite in hand, I would counter this Brainstorm all day. On the other side, trying to counter. Opponent is countering back. But this is interesting. I'm gonna draw 2 cards here. Trying to find a land. Yeah, because we're going to find a land. I'm attacking. If opponent wants to trade, then we trade. It's fine. And I don't want. I gonna trade. I'm not going to Humbling Elder here if my opponent blocks because I need this counter spell. I'm feeling that my opponent is going to try to play. Is gonna try to play the a terror or a crypt here. Okay, we can, and my opponent counter spell. That's fine. This can will be very strong, but yeah, he's still strong. I'm gonna attack if my opponent blocks. I want to Humbling Elder now because I don't want this 3-2 flyer walling my fairies. Okay, I discarded the Humbling Elder. Because I have found a Cryo Shatter. I was just trying to Humbling Elder my opponent. Would be economic to my cards, but I can surveillance. I'm going to surveillance scan now. Okay, at double crusher, we are really fine here. We are going to draw a card and we are going to discard this land if I find something better. Okay, now I just play the land. Yeah, I play the land because now I have counter spell and can. When it has brainstorm, I don't care about. Opponent just okay. He's shuffled. Now he might have a very good thing to do here. Okay, this was kind of strong. I believe I made a mistake. I'm going to can the serpent, but this is good. This is not bad. But now we need to attack with the. We need to crush shatter the. Yeah, we need to do this. And we attack with everybody, of course. We're going to discard the. Okay, opponent just doing this is fine. Okay, we don't play the land because we need to connect with this ninja and discard this land in case we need. Opponent did not flip the other. Maybe that was a land or a cryptic serpent. We're going to try to counter. Opponent is going to counter back. This might be bad, but we have a cryo shatter to this cryptic serpent. I'm gonna take this damage. I'm gonna cryo that, but that was bad because I forgot that that serpent would be one attack. Then we trade that. I need to humbling other now. Yeah, I need to humbling other. I was saving the humbling other for the delver at some point. But this is fine too. We have the counter spell. We can keep attacking in the air. Opponents keep attacking on the ground. We're not blocking here. I'm going to attack. Opponent, another crypt. Then we're going to counter. My opponent has no cards in hand. Okay, Ferris here. Before I can attack, just to see. That's very strong. We need a crash shatter before, I guess. I'm going to attack. If opponent wants to trade here with the ninja, it's really fine. Because we're gonna keep attacking the air. Opponent doesn't want to trade to. Well, that was crazy. I think that was bad from my opponent. Now opponent has no clock on me. He's dead. Only if he finds, I don't know. Okay, he just another serpent. Opponent found the 4 crypt serpents. Okay, we're gonna have the spell stutter, but my opponent has no cards in hand. I'm going to attack with everybody because not everybody, only the flyers. Because opponent just eat 1, take 2, go to 1. Opponent needs to find another flyer here. And this deck the plays no. I just jump block with the ninja because the humbling elder can still attack into this 1/5 serpent that is enchanted with the cry chatter. Opponent just let others attack. Maybe we missed or or attack phase, but that's not gonna happen. Point. And let's go to the game 2. Okay, this game 2 sideboard wise was it took out one humbling elder and just brought the single team dispel than we have on the sideboard. Not a very good sideboard against one of Blue Terror, but this is not a bad matchup. It's a maybe even, but I think it's a good matchup for us. We are yet to keep a strong hand on game 1. You guys, you nuts that we're gonna move in this hand, of course. Or maybe I just going to risk it. No. Oh, I just move with that second hand because we don't have pressure. We didn't have pressure that, but now we have only one land. And we find both both castle land. That saved us. Okay. At this point, I want to spell to the sprite anything my opponent plays. If it's not a maybe even if it's a brainstorm, if it's a mill spell, of course I want to spell to the sprite. An opponent plays a mill spell and I stuttered, like I said. And now we need to find more lands because I don't wanna ninja. I should have tricks here, but maybe it's better to leave this mana open because my opponent is playing Force Spike. But my opponent has nothing going on. Maybe he has a lot of serpents in hand. Who knows? Now I think I'm gonna make the mistake to play the Strix. Yeah. Opponent countering it. Wow, what? That was crazy. That shows me that my opponent has a lot of serpents in hand. Opponent just gut shot. Okay, we're gonna try to counter this. Opponent is going to have a first spike. Like I said, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I should have the Strix in hand and one more mana. That was really bad. Now we just ninja, trying to find a answer to this terror, because this terror is going to hack our butts here. Okay, I don't have anything going on, so one is going to counter. Now I play the miscreant, then I have off on my next turn. Opponent's not attacking because I draw cards if my opponent attacks. Off on mine resolves. Now we are gold because they have a ninja here. You draw a card, a land. Maybe I keep this land in hand. Maybe. Again, we are vulnerable to force spikes, but my opponent does not attack because he's not finding more creatures, and I keep attacking with the fairy and ninjaing. Opponent just good shot, then I gonna protect my creature just to ninja. I think that was correct. Opponent just lost 4 life to those good shots, and having 5 life now. He cannot attack. Okay, he's gonna Demon Fury. I'm gonna put second to the top, I remember, because I'm gonna attack everybody here. And I'm going to ninja. Opponent's gonna block a big ninja, and I'm going to ninja my little ninja, of course. Then I draw 2 cards. I draw the fairy and another ninja. So I'm gonna play the fairy, opponent's gonna counter. Then I'm gonna play both of my ninjas. My opponent cannot ever get out of this situation because I know Terror. I played Mono Blue Terror for a bunch of years, so I know the deck. I know the deck cannot, with 2 blockers, deal with 4 blockers at 1 life. So this was the round 5. Now let's go to the last round, the round 6. Okay, again, this is the last round, and again, a very bad hand on game 1. But we are on a draw. We can mulligan here easier because we don't feel the mulligan too much, that much. I'm mulligan to 6, and this hand is okay. But we are playing against a strange deck. At this point right here, I thought it was drawn. But I not play my streaks, of course. I'm gonna play the streaks. And then my opponent just then my opponent just play another forest and a ramp. But I realized this is a GRUUL ramp deck, and I need to counter his Chrysalis. Maybe opponent's going to play the Chrysalis next turn. Sagu trying to find a land. I'm going to counter this. I need to counter this guy because I need to connect with those ninjas on the next few turns. But I'm not going to connect. Now I need to find a land here. And we don't find it. We're gonna Humbling Elder, maybe. Opponent's going to play a Chrysalis. Yeah, I think we are dead. We're going to Humbling, maybe. Yeah, just to have one more creature in play. We can play the land. We can play the Strix, tap the attack. Maybe we can keep the. I think we should double off on mine here. We don't have a way to counter anything my opponent plays because this deck is not gonna play 1 mana spells besides the ramp spells, the ramp enchantments. So we're gonna try to find more answers, just diving into the deck. But 2 lands is not what we want here. Maybe 1. Now my opponent is going to resolve this boarding party. It's not bad because we can trade the boarding party. Because we can trade 1 ninja and the Humbling Elder for the boarding party. The Chrysalis is the problem. The game is not over. Not even close to be over. We have the counter spell, we have the spell study sprite just to flash, and tap the Chrysalis and steal initiative. My opponent plays 1. And here is another Chrysalis. This is the time we need to find more counters or more answers because opponents just flooding the board. Opponent just found, I think it was a Sagu in this Malevolent Rumble. Yeah, opponent just found a Sagu. You're gonna double block here. You're gonna just trade. That is not a good trade for us, but you know, a lot of lands. Now we can start to loot this land with the streaks. But this crystal is going to be very big. I don't have anything to deal with this crystals right now. And Cryo Shatter is just going to shrink a little bit, and my opponent's going to trade with one of my creatures. The Sagu is pretty bad. Then opponent finds the no, the Avenging Hunter. It's fine. Now we're just going to loot the island, and we should flash this special sprite on the end step. I think we should. And we did it wrong. This was a misplay because I think my opponent was about to attack with the Chrysalis. No, the opponent would not do that. Or maybe he would. And we just loot here and find nothing. Okay, Avenging Hunt is going to be big, trampling, you don't have any answer, and you're gonna lose the game here. We're just gonna concede. Maybe opponent would not attack with the Chrysalis dead, but I think my opponent would attack because he had a Sagu, and we would have two creatures to attack against the initiative, but opponent would steal the initiative back again, and then we're not gonna be able to steal it back to with two counters. And if it two plus one counters on my creatures here will not help us, like, get rid of this. So let's go to the game 2. Yes, this is the game 3, and we took out all the Humbling Elders, as you can see here, the 4 Humbling Elders, and one Offer Mind and one Dispel. And we just brought in the 4, yeah, the 4 Spradicias and 2 Hydroblasts. And I just found my Spradicias. We have a really strong hand here. This is a really strong hand. Really strong. We are on the play. Opponent is going to start to enchant his land, and you're going to spread and seize that. If you draw the third land, this is perfect. No, we just draw a third land. What I'm asking. Okay, opponent just Sagu, very slow here. Now, oh my god. Okay, we just don't have a human. Now we have a human. Now it's next turn that we're gonna need to draw land to have our fourth land, just to ninja. Opponent is a very bad shape here. If he tries to play, he's gonna play the mountain that he got with Sagu, but we're just gonna counter here. Opponent has nothing going on. This deck, he can have a electricity here. I just risk, but this deck needs to play breath weapons. I'm going to ninja here, of course. Opponent's gonna know about the spell to the sprite, but opponent's not gonna know. Not My opponent doesn't know about the counter spell. Here we're going to spell to the sprite because he needs to keep the pressure. If my opponent wants to stop my ninja to draw a card, he needs to sacrifice this token. Just jumping blocking the ninja. We kept the spell stutter, but not the land. We're gonna tap just because we need to be aggressive here. I don't know if that was a good idea, but we have a counter spell to counter my opponent Avenging Hunter or Chrysalis. I don't think I would counter the Avenging Hunter here, to be honest. Okay, we just draw 2 lands, so it's kind of crazy. Okay, opponent's trying to Chrysalis. Yeah, we're gonna counter. Of course. And we're gonna counter with the spells of the sprite. I sprite countering a Chrysalis. I was just counting my fairies at the time. I don't know why. I have 4 fairies. I could counter even an Avenging Hunter now with my spells of the sprite. This game was perfect. I think it was the most perfect draw that I ever have a draw with this deck, Mono Blue Fairies. I don't know if I said it correctly. That I ever have draw. That I have ever draw. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You got it. The opponent's barrage of boulders, you just counter, and you won the game 2. So let's go to the game 3. I need to win this game to be 5-1 and make top 4, the top 8. So let's go. Okay, the sideboard wise was the same thing. I didn't change anything. And this hand is suspicious. I think I'm going to mulligan this. I don't remember if I'm mulligan this actually, but I think I'm going to because I don't have anything going on for the first turns except to counter a thing and you know, starting C as my opponent's land. But maybe my opponent is not going to start with the ramp. I don't know. But let's see if I mulligan this hand. I think I'm mulligan this hand. Yeah, I'm mulligan. But this is a better hand because we have Cryo Shatter. Maybe we should have get back the Hydroblast. That was a mistake. I guess that was a mistake. Maybe I should have kept the second Cryo Shatter and just get back my just return Hydroblast to my deck. Yeah, opponent might just play. I think I just did this wrong. I made this mistake here. This was a mistake because I had no pressure if my opponent just destroy my fairy, but you know, my opponent's going to have 4 mana now, guy. Man, I need to counter the Chrysalis, and I just. But I had the Cryo Shatter. That was my thinking. I was thinking my opponent only has 1 card in hand now. I just gonna Cryo Shatter, but I don't have a counter spell now. You guys know the mistake because I would have a counter spell for this Chrysalis, and I would attack. I would have no fairies, but I would have my Cryo Shatter in hand, and now I need to play my fairy and just pray that my opponent doesn't have any good top decks now. I would have to counter it. I would have countered this Chrysalis and this other creature my opponent's gonna counter now. But my opponent would cascade into the Sagu, you know. But my opponent would not have this boarding party in play or the first Chrysalis in play. My opponent would have this token and this Sagu, and I would have the Cryogen in my hand. But I still have this Surveillance can. I'm gonna drop my third land, I'm gonna tap the Sagu and keep attacking. I would have a game here. And I would have my second counter spell, and I would have still my Cryo Chatter in hand. At some point, I would I could just Cryo Chatter my opponent's Sagu Widling. Okay, I think that all of that was a misplay, was a mistake. You know, I would still have my now I would have 1 fairy in play. The not I would not have this fairy in play because I would have my counter spell up. Now I'm just dead because opponent has this boarding party. I cannot deal with this boarding party anymore. Only the can just tapping, and opponent just found the second copy of Chrysalis. We're gonna counter. It's fine. We counter. Then my opponent is just gonna pulse back the Chrysalis, and we don't have a counter. Then we tap the boarding party. Opponent did not attack. That's okay. We found another can, which is not good, not that good, but we're gonna protect ourselves with the against the boarding party. But that was a mistake. I think that would not change that much at this point right now. I think we would have trouble because my opponent did found the second copy of Chrysalis. The third copy of Chrysalis coming to the pulse. Not the pulse, I just countered another Chrysalis. Just countered the third Chrysalis, and my opponent just returned the Chrysalis to the hand. And I countered the Chrysalis. I guess was that. But my opponent had 3 Chrysalis, as you can see. 3 Chrysalis in the 12 cards of the top of my opponent's deck. My opponent had 3 Chrysalis on the 12 cards in top. Now, Autosaur I just conceded. I cannot deal with this because I don't even see the opponent's Cascade. What my opponent cascade into? No, this was the Sagu. But that doesn't matter. You see, my opponent found 3 Chrysalis, opponent found boarding party, opponent found 3 ramp spells, only 2 lands in the top 13 cards. Another Outsoar, Pulse of Morass, and a Fire Cannonade. And I found just a few lands on the early game. That was really bad. On the mid game, is still short on lands. That was really bad. I made a mistake. I should have not take my Cryo Shatter back, my second copy of Cryo Shatter back. I should have put back my Hydroblast, and I would have two Cryo Shatter. Maybe the second copy of Cryo Shatter would be nice. No, certainly, for sure it would be nice. But yeah, mistakes. Then I made 4-2. I ended up being in the ninth position, and I won 7 ticks, fresh from a free event. It was nice. Now we're gonna be back to the conclusion about the deck, about the list. Okay, we are back for the conclusion, and this deck's pretty strong as it is right here. If you don't make many mistakes, I did some mistakes. I guess none of them was like you lose because of that mistake, because I don't think I made mistakes like that playing blue decks. I played blue decks for like 15 years, but I made some mistakes, and I made a lot of mistakes, but most of them are just just tiny bits of mistake. But if you don't make much bigger or major mistakes, this deck is pretty strong. You know, this deck is going to be pretty strong. It's going to be beating Affinity, Mono Blue Terrors, and if you don't if you don't face elves or you know uh, Glint Blade, if you don't face maybe Spies, kind of I don't know. If you don't face like, I guess it's good against Guardians, against Wildfires, Mono Blue Terrors, and Ruby Storms. It's also very strong against Ruby Storms. Maybe combo in general. This deck have a lot of counter spells going on, and the Spell Study Sprite is essentially a counter spell. But anyway, I would change anything in this list. Maybe, I don't know. Because the sideboard is just, you can play some Grave Hate in form of Relic of Progenitus. You can play the Unknowns instead of Still Sabotage, and you can play more the spells. You can play, maybe, um, I forgot the name of the card. God, it was the Unable to Scream, because he's better against Murmuring Mystic and Gutter Snipe, Castiflame Reefer, those creatures that have abilities. Maybe you wanna play one last Cryo Shadow Camelize. I said on the deck tag to play one more copy of the spell in the main deck. I think maybe even the fourth copy of Surveillance Scan could be nice in this deck, because this card is so strong. I'm gonna be testing for copies in this deck. For now, I'm gonna shield because uh, I have my fourth copy. I just bought the fourth copy, but I don't know. I don't know what to take out here. Maybe I could shatter it in the main deck, put it on the side. Maybe, I don't know. And now I gonna be show you guys the report of the event, like the top 16 decks, and then all that thing on the top and the decks. So let's go. Okay, here we are with the standings. We had 74 players, and this was the final standings. Baradas was playing Mono Green Elves, and Pedro Stark was playing Land Spy. Perugia was playing GRUUL Ramp. I lost in the last round. Gustavo Vieira was playing RAKDOS Madness. Rex and Magnus was playing Jeskai Ephemerate. Elfman was playing Grixis Affinity, Mehansk, Monstertron, Baldo, Mono Blue Fairies. He he made 5-1. I just made 4-2. Unfortunately, I here on ninth position. Mono Blue Fairies. Tio Max was playing Grixis Affinity. Lee Majors Jedi was playing the Mere Fairies. Tavares was playing Mono Red Madness. And Maverpino was playing Mono White Mini. Haoya was playing Mono Blue Terror. Akor Verde was playing Mono White Heroic, and Enrique Souza was playing Mardu Glint Blade. This was the top 16, and here is Tolerant Academy and 17 playing Group on. So this Tolerant Academy, I think he has I think it was that channel that has a name called the Tolarium Academy, but it's a cool channel. And this was the report, guys, and this was the video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. I'm gonna be linking the deck on the description and the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. It helps me a lot, and I appreciate it. So let's go to the next video, guys.